Hello, my guys, girlies, and everybody else. Okay, where did my fluffy go? Today, we are diving into the latest controversy surrounding Awkward Gourd, aka Divija Bhas. Who is this person? Well, she is an influencer who claims to have started the R word supremacy campaign. She is also credited to start the trend to reclaim the R word. That's been making waves all over social media. Now, if you are like me, you will ask, like I did 2 days back, what the hell is that? Well, let me explain. Okay, I'm not gonna explain what R word in Indian context means because honestly, there is no need. Everyone and their mamas know what exactly that word means. The word is not just derogatory, but it is also deeply rooted in misogyny with layers of problematic socio-cultural, economic, and political history behind it, leading to trauma, exploitation, and unaliving countless people. It is literally a slur used for decades against women. Now, let me be very clear. So, if it was only about her and she was the only person concerned, I don't think as many people would have cared. But the fact that she has quite some following in the real world, that is the real issue. The problem wouldn't have been if we were all adults and she obviously has her freedom of speech, so she can say whatever the heck she wants about herself. However, as long as it doesn't harm herself or anybody else. But in this case, it doesn't stop there. The fact that she literally has 520k followers on Instagram and some 103k on YouTube as on November 13, 3:20 a.m. Yes, I checked. That's how vela my life is. So when you have this level of following and influence, whatever you say or do on your platform transcends into something much bigger than yourself. Imagine you speaking, and whatever you say, if not all, at least a huge chunk of those numbers are listening to you and literally trying to follow in your footsteps. I mean, that's what her job literally entails, right? Influencer, which means literally she is influencing others how to live, talk, walk, think, or what to put in their bios. It's high time influencers realize that when you have that level of influence, words you speak are not just words, they are like bullets. Once you have fired them, you cannot really take them back. It's like, as one of my favorite superheroes would say, with great power comes great responsibility. Okay, can I be honest for a second here? I get what she's trying to do. She's really not, like coming up with something revolutionary or, for that matter, doing anything radical that nobody has thought of or seen or done it before. In fact, she is not even the first person to suggest something like this. There are words which our parents and grandparents wouldn't have dreamt to say it out aloud, but we just use it in our regular conversation. Like, you know how we women call ourselves the baddies and the B word and own it like a proud badge of honor, taking away the power of the abuser. So we have already normalized so many abuses and slurs. So what's one new? The problem starts when literal minors, yes, teenagers and alike, are mindlessly jumping on this as if it's just another trend, and young, impressionable minds are blindly supporting something without fully comprehending or contemplating the damage it may ensue. And see, don't get me wrong, even I was that obnoxious 15-year-old at one point, thinking to myself, ooh, I have figured out the world just by watching a few fantasy movies and rom coms. And now, when I look back, I'm like, what the fuck was I even thinking? So, yeah, the onus doesn't really follow on these teenagers while their prefrontal cortex is still developing. They are just following without fully understanding the context and how deep the roots of such a word goes. Let's talk about why reclaiming a slur isn't as simple as it looks. Parsons' main take is how the R word is used against her, and honestly, more often than not, if you are a young girl or a woman at some point or the other in your lifetime, and this is so sad, it has been used against you at least once, if not multiple times. So why shouldn't we reclaim it? Let's unpack. If you ask both men and women, what is the meaning of feminism? 80%. Yes, educated men and women, at least from what I have seen, 80% would say it is some weird Western world crap that is ruining our culture, our women, and our family values. Heck, I have even seen people say it as if it's some actual slur. Like, I personally know people telling me, "Oh, you are not one of those F word." Like, what? If asked, most people flubber on the question of what feminism is, which you can literally check with a mere Google search. Yet they come up with stigmas like feminists are women, always smoke and drink and wear revealing clothes. Why do you think that happens? Because our brains, much like me on my week off, does not like to work at all. Like, generally speaking, it just likes to sit in its comfy, cozy zone and stay in its superficial beliefs. Because learning something new, researching, even if that means a Google search, adapting to new possibilities, and question our belief system, thought process is something our brain does not love to do, like hates to do. And there is evolutionary reason behind it. But what this is resulting is 80% of people not researching or getting into the depth of what the topic will be, and equating feminism to women who wear red lipstick and drink and smoke and wear skimpy clothes. An entire movement built on fighting for equal opportunity is reduced to a pictorial representation of red lipstick, smoking, and drinking publicly. So, in my opinion, why don't we reclaim that word? Like, reclaim the word feminism and educate people what feminism really means. Which wave of feminism is currently going on? What is intersectional feminism? I'll tell you why. Because that would not have the shock value as reclaiming a slur that has historically and even till date been used against girls and women on a regular basis to demean and disrespect. At the end of the day, the people to whom we are subscribing to and following on screen, they don't charge us directly, like monetary charging. Not yet, at least. I mean, yes, I know there are options. Like click on the join button or whatever and whatnot. However, that is not their main source of income. What is their main source of income? It's our ever decreasing attention span. How can attention be grabbed? By increasing the shock value. Let's break it down. How it helps. See, I'll be honest with you. I didn't even know who this person is. Yeah, sorry, but not sorry. Yes, maybe once or twice she has appeared on my IG Reels feed, but I didn't know her name, and neither did she ever come up on my FYP. But there is this other girl whom I follow, Srichirps, and she shows up on my FYP, and she has done a video about this controversy, and that's how I got to know about this whole ordeal and the popularity. However, at my age and with ever changing trends, it is a little difficult to shock and, like make me take sides one way or another. Because one thing I have realized that there is no black or white in the real world. Everything is nuanced. What do I mean by it? Well, our algorithm loves to treat things in a binary mode, black or white, good or a bad person. A person is evil and menace and threat to human society. The other person is real God's incarnation on earth. Either you are a feminist or you are a misogynist. However, reality doesn't work like that. reality is way more nuanced. And while the algorithm is playing these mind games with us, our brain is also no less. In fact, our brain does this incredible, fascinating thing whenever it is given a choice. Almost inevitably, it will blow things up, magnifying it so much out of proportion. Either way, somebody is so good I can't even exist without them, or somebody is so vile and full of malice that I feel like unaliving them. However, whenever we step back and gauge the real situation at hand, more often than not, in real life, human beings are way more complex. They are complex creatures. There is a saying, nothing is as bad or as good as it seems. People say there are always three sides to every story: your side, my side, and the truth. However, in my opinion, I'd go out on a limb and say there are way more sides to an online story, way more nuances than what can be propagated in a 60-second reel. Either you grab the attention of the viewer or you get skipped. And when that attention literally translates to somebody's bread and butter, the stakes are even that much higher, and so is the reward or the punishment that comes along with it. Remember, when you are not being charged for a product, you are the product. First, in Instagram and YouTube or any other these short form videos, everything is super fast. You watch, you skip, you move on to the next one. I have even seen people literally saying your attention is their capital, which is absolutely true. My best belief, people come to content creation for a couple of reasons: to get rid of the corporate hamster wheel, to be their own boss, all the glitz and glam of the life of the influencer who is always vacationing and or doing endless hauls. And at least for me, it is a creative outlet. However, in apps like this, you have to keep constantly uploading short form videos. You have to keep churning and churning, posting no matter how shitty your content is, or every day, no matter how good or bad your mood is. Better still if twice or thrice a day. Yes, you can take a leave whenever you want, but there are no paid leaves in the traditional sense of the word. So if try, like, let's get some context. Is credited to have contributed to 40,000 plus songs in her entire lifetime across a period of 3 decades in 14 different languages. And mind it, she is an exceptional talent. Over 2,600 plus songs have been written and sung by Kishore Kumar, who is another exceptional talent of his time. Now, keeping that in mind, let us take an average influencer who posts one reel a day, every day, 365 reels in a year, and along with that, there will be posts, carousel stories, and whatnot, whatever the algorithm Lord's desire. And you have to maintain your own niche. So you decided not to feed the corporate beast, but ended up doing the same shit, different platform, different multi-billionaires. So obviously, we landed at a place where everything is content. And now mix both these pointers together. Say I have to keep doing something each day, every day, and stay relevant, hold the attention, rinse, repeat, and do it once again. So, obviously, people, especially influencers, are more often than not feeling this constant pressure of what the next bizarre thing I could do. What is the next BS I can spew? This is the same reason the whole Ranveer Allahabadiya controversy happened a few months ago. And please, I by no means like that man, but everybody wants to show how cool they are and edgy. But if you want a sharp sword with edge of or finesse, you need to create it with proper material. It has to have substance. Similarly, us humans who are trying to act edgy without actual substance end up looking hollow and making mindless content, spewing BS, and ending up in endless controversies. And now that they have said or done whatever nonsense they have said or done in front of tens and thousands of people, it's obviously not easy to apologize or take it back. When the camera turns on, the reality switches off. Here's another thing: Gen Z is the first generation who who have grown with screens literally shoved into their face, which again, like everything else has its pros and cons. But just think about it. Only 20 years back, generally, mostly when a common person went out to be at school or work, you had to wait for them to come back. Yes, mobiles were invented, but most common people in India, at least, didn't have it. I think pagers were more common back then, and if you had a pager, people could communicate. By communicate, I mean send you just a couple of words saying, call me or urgent. And that was a big deal back then. Nobody in my family ever had a pager, even so forgive me if I am not explaining that like in the correct manner. From there, we went to be available 24/7 at people's beck and call. Isn't it wild? Now imagine how slowly evolution takes place. How our brains literally hasn't been able to cope with how fast technology is advancing. And when you are in your teens or tweens, say, an influencer says, bestie, we think they are indeed our besties. However, in reality, they don't even know we exist. We know them, but baby girl, we only know what they want us to know. This is where terms like mama goat and baby goat becomes extremely problematic. It creates a parasocial relationship which can have dangerous effects on individuals and at society at large. A topic we must divulge another day. And you would think of everybody else, a mental health advocate would know and hence refrain from giving in to creating such psychosis. At this point, it is not just influencing, it is clear manipulation. And the result of that, well, we can all see it by our own eyes. How her followers are calling names to anybody who has some opposing views to that of hers. Not to condemn the thousands of trolls who go to her platform and several others' accounts to use similar, not worse, slurs and derogatory words. Trolls will keep finding a way to troll you. And if you really had a psychology degree, you would know that these keyboard warriors, who are basically, in my eyes, bullies behind fake profile pictures, they have a much deeper issue which cannot be fixed by a reel or a short or a YouTube video for that matter. So, obviously, as anything else goes in India, what happened next? Somebody, rather sorry, two people. I mean, two people. Hindutva Nari and Anubhav Gupta claimed on Twitter, X, that they have filed a police complaint, which generally leads to an FIR against Bhasan. The complaint accused Bassett of influencing minors of inappropriate content and encouraging behavior that could considered an offense under the POCSO Act and other Indian laws based on the similar nature for the use of the word and its connotations. Now there are several videos. Some are for her, which my algorithm have not shown me. Some are against her, which is all I have seen by my algorithm gods. And I am not even going to get into that. What do I know? I'm just a girl on the internet. But seriously though, if I take a step back and look at the bigger picture, here's my 2 cents on the whole situation. Whenever you see your favorite online persona saying or doing something, question yourself. Ask if this action is solving anything. Is it at least helping to take a step forward in the right direction? Because remember, 2 step forward, 1 step back is also 1 step forward. So in this particular case, I would ask myself, by me calling myself or putting hashtag proud R word on my bio, am I reducing SA? Am I liberating the people who are bound by sex work for financial or even other reasons? Even in the year of 2025, after the Durgapur grape case, you know why I'm saying that, to appease the YouTube gods, statements like this are made. And this is not just one political person, it has been multiple political leaders who has often victim blamed after something has happened to them. And you may ask, what kind of comparison is this? Like, why am I even bringing these two people completely from different fields in one place? Well, then let me tell you. Both of them are cloud chasers and want to appear that they are addressing an issue, whereas they are the only thing they are doing is addressing the symptom and barely not even scratching the surface of the real issue. So now that we discussed these whole all these parts and she has been part of the discussion, whether you hate her or whether you love her, but know that you are giving her exactly what she wants, your time and attention, which to her converts to actual money. And also, I want to tell you this to my young adults of India and would be young adults of the country. You live in a world which we didn't even know. With the advent of technology, you and us, we all are learning and unlearning things hand in hand. Given that you are young, your mental acumen obviously has a better grasp on technology and similar stuffs. But whatever you see, take it with a grain of salt. If influencers are being talked about, that is their bread and butter, and as the old saying goes, no publicity is bad publicity. However, by you following them, what are you getting from it? If you really want to be a feminist and or fight the system, study about feminism. See what has worked in the past and what hasn't. Do you know, even in today's date, marital rape is not illegal in India? On an average, 86 to 87 rape cases are reported daily in India. And mind it, this is full fledged rape cases. I'm not even talking about all forms of SA cases. SA victims often don't speak up in our country, and it is still a taboo where victim blaming is not only prevalent but predicted. We need to understand the gravity these topics hold and at the same time try to minimize the taboo attached to such conversations so that more and more men and women and people of any gender for that matter and sexual orientation can come forward, speak up, and seek the help they need. What? Did you forget that SA victims can be of any gender and sexual orientation? We need to stand for real victims. And keep in mind, SA victims are not only women. We don't need to reclaim another slur or start another hashtag on Instagram. What we need is to educate people what true feminism means and media literacy means, especially in context of India, which is one of the most diverse countries out there. We need legal reformations, equal opportunity for every individual, understanding, consideration, compassion, exposure, and for which we need to get educated first. Where do we get that? Well, all this knowledge is literally one Google search away inside our fist. Build your tribe. And whether you look at the first wave of feminism in 1980s or the very recent hashtag Me Too movement, if there is one thing absolutely crucial to decide the success or failure of any movement, whether it's online or offline, that is people. You cannot make a movement successful by alienating half of the population. And if you want to make videos on these kind of topics, please mention the topic in the comment section. Let's meet up again very, very, very soon. Until then, bye. Bye bye.